Okay, we're going to work real quick on our 4.8. If there's any background noise, I apologize. I'm working from home, and sometimes, the way that houses go, they're a little more noisy than other times. So please forgive me if you hear about anything in the background. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to work on percent profit tonight. Okay, so guys, a percent profit, let's talk about profit first. And a profit, okay, profit is how much money I make, right? So a profit is simply the selling price, okay, minus your cost. Okay, that tells me the distance above what I sold versus what it cost me. So that's my profit. That's how much I've made. Okay. Now, if I am dealing with percent of profit, okay, so if we want percent profit, well, we need to determine, do we want the percent profit based on cost, percent profit cost, or do we want the percent profit based on the selling price? Okay, and these are different. Okay, these are different percents, different ways to calculate them. If I want the percent profit based on cost, then I simply want the profit. So I want the profit, and I want to divide that profit by its cost. That's going to give me some sort of a percent, okay? And it could very easily be over 100, okay? It could be over a 100% increase in profit. If I want based on selling price, all we're going to do is divide the profit by the selling price. Okay, I'm just going to call that selling. Okay, that's going to give me my percent profit based on my selling price. Okay, and there are different times that you could want these things. Remember that a percent is always a part of a whole. Okay, and so that's what's going to give you your selling price. Okay, so let's talk about calculators. This is a math class, so this could be fun. A retail store markets calculators that cost the store $45 each. Oh, let me erase this because it's hard to see. $45 each, and are sold to customers for $60 each. Okay, so we want, what is the profit on each calculator? Well, we are selling for $60, but it's only costing us $45. So that's $60 minus $45, which is going to give us a profit of 60 minus 45, or $15. Okay. Now, what is the percent profit based on cost? Well, we've got that formula up here. The percent profit based on cost is my profit divided by my cost. Well, we just calculated our profit as 15. So that is simply 15 divided by, and what did it cost us? Well, it cost us $45. So 15 divided by 45. I can reduce that fraction pretty easily. Divide this by 5, that gives me 3. Divide this by 5, it gives me 9. Divide this both by 3 is going to give me 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 1/3, or 0.33. That's pretty easy to do in your calculator, which is also can be written as 33%. So I am marking that up 33% based on my cost. Okay. Well, what's my profit based on the selling price? Again, let's see, that's a different one. So there's my selling price. My selling price is 60, right? So I want the percent profit based on selling price. So that's my profit divided by my selling price. Selling price is 60. I can reduce this in much the same manner. Now, guys, you could divide this. We could do 15 divided by 60. That's going to give me 0.25. So 0.25, with that division, 0.25 as a percent, is going to move this 2 places over, which is 25%. Okay, that is my percent profit based on selling price. Now, simple interest. Simple interest, you're going to see this quite a bit in many of your math classes. Simple interest is simply a formula. It's a relatively easy formula. The simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. The important part here is that I'm multiplying all of these things out. P times R times T, where I is the amount of interest, P is my principal, okay? My R is my rate. That's my rate of interest. And my T is my time. Now, the important part here is that time is measured in years. Okay, we usually use simple interest whenever it comes to years. If you are looking at months, okay, months would be a fraction of a year, right? So that would look like, who knows, if it's 6 months, right? There are 6 months out of 12, or 0.5, right? So half a month, or half a year. Okay, so here we go. If I want to borrow $2,000 from your bank for 1 year, you want to borrow $2,000 from your bank. If the interest rate is 5.5, how much would you expect to pay? Okay, so we want to know here, what is the amount of interest? Okay, so my amount of interest is going to be I. I know that the principal that I'm borrowing is $2,000. Okay. I know that my rate is 5.5. Now remember, it's got to be a decimal, so that's 0.055. And then I'm borrowing that for a period of time. Well, I'm wanting it for, take a look here, 1 year. So that's just going to be multiplied by 1. And we can multiply this out. So that's 2,000 times 0.055, and then we're multiplying that times 1. Okay, so that means that in that year I'm going to be paying 110 additional dollars. So remember, when multiplying this out, my interest rate is 110, but that's not what it wants. It wants to know how much interest would you expect to pay? Well, that is my interest. That's what I expect to pay, is $110 over that 2,000. Okay. Now, we can work compound interest, and guys, I've got this typed out because it would take a little while for me to have written this out, and I want to keep these videos relatively short. Compound interest, guys, all we're going to do is we're going to use that simple interest formula that I just taught you, I equals PRT, and as you get into upper-level mathematics, there are more complicated compound interest formulas, but I think this will work for now. And we're going to use that same I equals PRT to determine the interest. Now, my time is going to change in this case. Annually is just going to be 1 over 1. Remember, it's a fraction of a year, so that's going to be 1. Semi-annually means twice a year. If I do a semi-annual sale, it's going to happen twice. So that is 1 out of 2 times a year. Quarterly would be 1/4, or 4 times a year. Bi-monthly means it happens once every 2 months, or 1/6. Monthly is 1 out of 12, and daily is 1 out of 365. There are 365 days in a year. Okay. Then, after you have used that simple interest formula, then you're going to add that solution to your beginning value. Okay. So what that means is I've found some interest. I've added it to what I owe. Now I'm going to have to do it again and again and again and again based on how much time I'm working on borrowing this loan. So let's go ahead. For some reason this copied double, so let me get rid of that. Okay, so let's work one. Okay, if a savings account of $1,200 is compounded annually, okay, that's once per year, okay? Once per year at 5%, how much will be earned in 3 years? That's the important part here, because simple interest would have just given me 1 year. I don't have to do a whole lot with that, but we're looking at 3 years. So let's look at year 1. So in year 1, that's going to equal I equals PRT, which that is going to be a $1,200 principal. My rate is 5% or 0.05. And my time, it's only once a year, right? So times 1. Well, that's going to give me 1,200 times 0.05. So 1,200 times 0.05. Now, that tells me that I've gone up $60 in that first year. Okay, so that's going to equal 60. But now, my beginning value of my next year is going to be 1,200 plus that 60, or 1,260. So year 2, I'm not only calculating what my original cost is from my original 1,200. Now I'm finding out some interest on this 1,260. So my new year 2 is going to be I equals PRT, where my principal is now going to be this 1,260. So 1,260 times my rate. My rate here again is still 0.05. And my time is going to be the same, so times 1. So that's going to be 1,260 times 0.05. 1,260 times 0.05 is going to give me $63 now. So it's a little bit more than it was before. So that's going to be 1,260 plus that 63 is going to give me 3. That's going to be 1,323 for that second year. Now, if we're going to keep working this, we're going to have to take that 1,300, and that's going to be my new P. So my third year, and the end of my problem, is going to be I equals P. Well, P is going to be that 1,323, the new one. And I'm going to multiply that times the 0.05 times 1, because again, we're going at 1 year. So 1,323 times 0.05 is going to be 66. So that's going to be, I guess I should look at that, 66.15. So 66.15. So now we're going to look at 66.15 plus the 1,323. So that is 1,323 plus 66.15 is going to give me my new value in total. So plus 1,323. 1,323 gives me my new of 1,389.15. So in 3 years, I've got 1,389.15. Now, if you want to do just a little bit of fun math, if you're interested, you can go back up and you can actually go in and double check that your percent increase over those 3 years. Remember, I taught you percent increase a little bit back here. Or in the other lesson, I suppose, you can do your percent increase to find out what was the percent increase from 1,260 to 1,389. Just a little exercise if you're interested in that. Okay, well, I hope this helps. Note that I could have gone something larger than this. I would have just had to multiply by a fraction based on this chart above. Okay, so if you have any issues with that, don't hesitate to contact me and let me know. Good luck.